Everybody, I'm uneasy. We got a great show for Sheezy. Stick around. You definitely don't want to miss it.
Pulls up, three-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good! Wins the game at the buzzer!
What is good in the neighborhood, Pete? I could have listened to that beat a couple more minutes. I was over here in the backstage vibing to it, man. I'm feeling real good. I'm happy to have you with me. Man, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm real excited. It's got some news. Makes you a little nervous, I think, but maybe we could put your mind at ease.
Let's go, man. I'm excited because what everybody doesn't know, shout out to us with the Pete and Repeat show. And I let a couple of people know today, one of our sponsors, I was at Blind Fury's house today. He was like, I see you got the thing with Pete over there. What's going on with y'all? Why did you call it Repeat? I said, well, he's the white version of me, and me myself have heard from everybody. Hey, what's your name? My name's Pete. How you doing? Oh, Pete and Repeat was in the boat. Pete fell off. Who was left? Repeat. Pete and Repeat was in the boat. They was like, what do you mean? I said, listen to that joke. They was like, oh, that's clever. I was like, yeah, until you've heard that every damn day.
1,000 times.
Yes. So that's where we are with that, man. And I let them know. They was like, I understand that. I totally appreciate y'all's show. And I think y'all will be going to be doing great things. And I know we are, man.
Absolutely. Of course. How would we do it any other way?
Definitely, man. I mean, the names itself, the personality, come on, man.
It sells it.
Definitely. How you want to start this off today, man?
Well, we had some, I don't know, exciting news for you.
Let's go, man. Get me excited, man.
Let's start with it.
I was kind of in a funk when we talked, but get me excited. I need it.
No, I mean, the 49er Nation should be Purdy excited that they did sign their quarterback. So at the very least, Niners fans should be comfortable knowing that you have your quarterback. That's one thing. You cannot win in the NFL without a frontline starting quarterback. And Brock Purdy signs an average of $53 million a year. I think $180 million of it is guaranteed. And in the end, that's really what the contract is. But, you know, I thought about you when I first heard it because I remember a video that you put out a few months back.
Would have given $40 million and 1 cent.
not one nickel more.
I had to say it, man. But when we talked yesterday, it put a lot into perspective. He is greater than, and his graders are better, even though last year he didn't have all of his weapons. And, you know, a lot of people will say, well, you didn't have your weapons, so you still should have done these right here. How can you do that without them?
Yeah, I totally disregard that argument. You show me the quarterback that goes off without their weapons. Let's just take a look at Patrick Mahomes over the last 2 years. His stats have gone into the toilet as they lose, as he lost some of his best receivers. So let's not pretend that the Kansas City Chiefs didn't go to the Super Bowl the last 2 years because of their defense. That's exactly why. It wasn't because of Patrick Mahomes. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from Patrick Mahomes. He's the best in the league, period, end of story, end of conversation. Mm-hmm. But the stats that he put up the last 2 years, Brock Purdy put up better stats than him. Let's keep it real. So no, there is no quarterback. There is no quarterback. Historically, maybe you could say Tom Brady. He never had, but he had always had good tight ends and good slot receivers. But maybe you could say he never, and even when he did have Randy Moss, they didn't win a Super Bowl with him. So, Peyton Manning, he had unbelievable talent around him. Come on. That argument is such bullshit to me. I just don't buy it. So is he elite skills-wise, talent-wise? No, but he's so much more than that. The intangibles, the things that are very difficult to measure, intelligence, quickness of decision making, Also anticipation. This is something that most people don't understand. And as a former quarterback myself, I get it. And I can tell you how hard it is. It is really difficult to look at a guy and know he's covered. You could see he's covered, but believe he's going to break open as you release the ball. That comes with a lot of practice. That comes with all kinds of reps and experience. He's done it from the beginning. So is he more expensive now? Yeah, he's more expensive now. But what do you want to do? You want to trade for Trey Lance? I think he might be available. I suspect they don't want to do that, right?
He definitely is. And Pete, before I say anything, man, shout out to Marcel Murphy giving that love. Man, I appreciate you giving the love for the first one. You were the first one to respond for the Pete and Repeat show, man. It's always love. And shout out to the Black Light TV show, man. Everybody that don't know what that is and what they're about, you need to go check them out, man. It's right there. You can see it in the left-hand side of the screen. Everything's there. They got so much things. He does documentaries, well, many documentaries on things and everything like that. And he's a great podcast host. He is great content. You guys should check them out, man. But yeah, on that okay. But on the Brock Purdy thing, I'm with you on it 100%. Like you brought that to my eyes, and you brought that light to me when I was down on it with the 40 million, not 1 cent above it. But the market, the prices, they have the money to give that, because if he wasn't to be there, you would have to rely on Mac Jones. You would have to rely on Tanner Mordecai, who's unproven, which within our hands is still love, because we don't know. And yeah, man, we appreciate you too, Marcel. Just had to get you out there. I appreciate you watching. And you go ahead and tell Clock and everybody there, they can go ahead and tune in too, man. We on here, we're going to talk about some 49ers a little bit, and we're going to talk about some playoffs. But yeah, we're all the way live with it. But I think the thing that I was mad about was what I said when we were speaking earlier, with his arm in the ring.
No, for sure.
Or in those conditions. Conditions. But we saw less games where he succeeded in those versus games where he did good. It's not always going to be rainy. Broken clock is right 2 times a day. I can't be mad at that, and I have to take it for what it is. And for what it is, what he does with our team, like you said, being able to read and do that, he said himself, 60% of the time he can't see over the line.
Yeah.
But a lot of people would take that and be like, well, why are you quarterbacking? He still gets the ball where it needs to be. Right. So that's not a point you can stand on.
Let me give you some breaking news here. Most of the quarterbacks in the league can't see over the line. Right. These guys are 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". The quarterbacks aren't. The quarterbacks are shorter than these guys, so most of them can't. What we do is we look through windows. There's gaps in between linemen and defensive linemen. You look in between, and you pick your spots. That's how it works. Nobody's staring. There's very few guys that are staring over the top of the offensive line. It just doesn't work that way.
You got extra love for that right there. You already know. I understand that completely. And this is for the people that don't understand that. That was that, and with him saying that and him not having that arm when it's really needed. And I won't say this like it's not always there, but his bombs, sometimes you see the receiver slow down.
Kind of dies at the end.
But all of his passes across the middle, when he has to layer passes, that's on the money.
Absolutely.
I'm not mad at that at all. He does that, and he gets it out of there. And you think all we had was Trent Williams for a line, and outside of that, he kept himself healthy as he could, even without McCaffrey, even without Kittle. Certain games with Debo. McDouble Debo with cheese and fries out there with what he's doing, man. I'm glad he's happy to be away from where we are and over there with Jaden McDaniels, man. Well, Jaden Daniels, I'm sorry, where I put the Mick on there. I was thinking McDonald's. I'm sorry. But,
looking for that Big Mac.
With extra cheese on it. But I can't talk bad about him because I was happy for what he did. I know he'll do great things for them. But where we are with him, I'm glad with that. The contract was friendly. 181 guaranteed. He's worth that. I can give him that. I cannot sit here with me and you talking and say he's not worth that contract. He's not worth what's guaranteed, and he won't produce.
The other side of it is, what's the alternative?
Right.
Like I laid into the Dallas Cowboys when they gave Dak Prescott $60 million a year on average because is he worth it? No. But the problem is for all these teams, if you don't have that guy, you can't compete. It's just impossible. The league is just all the rules are lean towards offense, lean towards protecting quarterbacks. And then the other side of it is at $53 million a year, that's the average. That puts him at about like 8, 9, 10, like right in that range. He's right. He's making a couple bucks more a year than say Lamar Jackson, but Lamar signed his contract 2 years ago.
He did.
He's making a little bit more than he's making exactly the same as Jared Goff. He's right in that range where I actually think he probably belongs. He needs help. Shouldn't be making 60. So you don't want to, soak up too much of that salary cap. But he has proven. I mean, come on now. He took this team with nobody expected it, took him to the NFC Championship game, and then took him to the Super Bowl, and frankly, had that game ready to be won. And they kind of spit the bit a little bit. So
and Pete, what they did on that, it wasn't even they spit it. It was I put it on Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not know what to do in overtime?
I know.
On the coin toss
Yep.
and everything like that. And that's also what he does with his rookies and things now. Now he has to play to his rookies and his players that he drafted because he has no choice. But last year showed us, as 49ers fans and Kyle Shanahan versus other teams, if you're that man that's up, I don't care if you're a rookie. If you're 17 years old, if you're better than the guy that you have at that position, you should start at that damn position.
Right.
I don't care. I mean, come on. How can you justify that? You lost this because the guy that was older couldn't do it. The whole time you kept him in there, he was getting beat. He was getting blown by. He couldn't hold his weight. But you had a guy that was proven that couldn't do it. But you just proved that he couldn't do it by not putting him on the field. So you're right in that sense, but you're wrong in the sense of you didn't put your best player on the field. I don't like that about Kyle. I love his offensive schemes. I love what he does. I don't like how he's not a leader of men. He'll put it on somebody else. He'll take he will take the woman route on this, Pete. Men, we take accountability. He will. I mean, come on. You look at Steve Wilkes was fired, and his defense was better than last year's defense. He went to the Super Bowl with the defense that he got fired for.
Right.
But last year, I mean, come on. They were making all kinds of other excuses that they didn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean,
is Robert Saleh back as defense coordinator now?
Yes, sir.
So that should be exciting. And the other thing I'll say, look, I like John Lynch as your GM. Whatever you want. Shanahan's a good coach. He's gone to the Super Bowl multiple times now. He's got to close the deal, but he gets you there. And I will say this, it seems to me they knew this day was coming and they've been kind of preparing. They drafted 2 wide receivers last year. Pierce Saul had a wild, crazy incident, but I think they've been preparing for this, bringing in some younger guys. Whether they all work out or not, who knows? But you got to at least like the infrastructure that you have in place to deal with this. And the reality is everybody has to deal with it at some point. Or, the funny thing is you want to have to deal with this at some point because it means you got yourself a good quarterback, which you have to have. So Is he limited? Yes, he is limited. He is not, he's not Josh Allen. He's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not even Joe Burrow. But he's closer to Joe Burrow than people might think. Joe Burrow has a better arm than he does, but what you can't take away is what he has done, the success that he has had. It's hard to argue with.
Right.
So,
and even with his arm and everything, like how you said, these guys can be Joe, they can be other great quarterbacks, they can be Jacksons, they can be Mahomes. But in that system with Kyle, Brock Purdy has put up better numbers against them, better quarterback ratings on those, versus those guys in games at certain times too. We don't know what it was. And last year, that was a hell of a year for us. And like I said,
a lot went wrong. Yeah,
a lot went wrong
last year.
Definitely, you bought that light. You know me. I'll start yelling in a minute. Be like, ain't no goddamn way. But I had to calm down. Saner heads came through and prevailed because I understand. There's nobody left that's proven to do what he's proven that he can do.
Absolutely. Look, the reality is there's probably 20 teams in the NFL that would happily take him off your hands.
Yep.
I mean, that says something. Not everybody can get, Jared Goff has had a pretty good career, done really well with Detroit. He's needy. Most of these guys are needy. Yep. There's not too many Josh Allens, Lamar Jacksons, and Patrick Mahomes. There's not too many guys like that. Look at Cincinnati. They just signed two $30 million wide receivers. I think that's crazy. I think you should only have one. But is he working without talent? Like that argument blows my mind. Like, who are these guys that are putting up, Tua Tagovailoa down in Miami? He's got two guys that leave a vapor trail behind them when they run on the field. So, like, everybody's got talent. It's just, is your talent on the field all the time? And when they are not, it's hard. No shit, it's hard for any quarterback, once you lose Jared Goff plays behind maybe the best or second best offensive line in the league. You can sit back there, eat a sandwich, and then throw it a pass. Well, shit, I'm 51 years old going on 52. I could probably complete a bunch of passes at this point, too, if I had like 6 seconds in the pocket.
Hey, man, you're a good-looking 51, 52, man.
Not bad, right? Not bad.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
From the eyebrows down,
But yeah, that's true. And Pete, the thing is about what I think a lot of people are missing is in that position, like you said, without the pieces and with the pieces, what you're doing with them. When all of these quarterbacks had the pieces, he still was shining that light on them and doing his thing.
Right.
So I can't be mad, and that's what the market has for them. I was mad because of everything else, and I was only mad in everything that I got together and put in that snowball because it's going to take effect. You paid him that money. In this draft, we saw you picked up some great defensive players. You didn't pick up offensive linemen like that to protect him.
Right.
Even if you would have picked up one person from the draft that was really, really high in the draft on offensive line, I think the fans and myself would have felt better about it. I'm not mad at the defensive people that they collected because we need that. And that's solid saying, hey, man, you're not going to get me to come here and be your defensive coordinator with shit.
Right. Of course.
I'm not doing that. I can go
anywhere else. I was to say he's got options or had options for sure.
Yeah, you're not going to scapegoat me. But if so, give me something. But with Brock Purdy getting that money right there, don't you think, Pete, they should do more to protect him? Like the DJ, what is it? Is it DJ Hughes or whoever it was? They said they came to an agreement, but they still haven't come to an agreement now. His agent said today they haven't come to an agreement. So the left lineman that they were supposed to get that had everybody calm while they were getting all of these things, the unsigned free agent. Well, he wasn't an unsigned free agent. He was just somebody they were going to pick up and sign. They're not on those terms like that. And I don't like how the reports are always different with the Niners. The injuries, we got Malik Mustafa. They don't know what happened to him, but now we found out he tore his he had a injury in the end of the year when they played Arizona last. That's why he wasn't looking as good as he was supposed to. But not me, but the NFL, you're supposed to report that.
Right.
The league is supposed to know that, and Kyle's been hiding these things, like how he did with McCaffrey, how he did with Trent last year. I don't like that because it's like you're saving something on some need-to-know basis, but this isn't that. This is the league. Right. We're supposed to know these things. If you know what we're supposed to.
Yeah. To your point, I totally agree. You have to protect them. And I would say that about everybody. Like every quarterback in the league needs to be protected. Why did the Chiefs lose the Super Bowl last year? Because Patrick Mahomes got knocked on his ass countless times. He made, I forget the guy's name for the Eagles, but he probably made himself about $25 million by just beating the living shit out of Patrick Mahomes for an entire game. So, yeah, of course. Yeah, you have to. And it's so funny. We're doing a podcast. We're trying to be entertaining and informative at the same time. And there is nothing sexier than talking about offensive line, right? Like, but that's where it all happens. Like, you watch what happens in New England over the next 2 years as Vrabel is their head coach. He knows this. You're going to see them develop an offensive and defensive line, and then you make everything else after that because that's where the whole game starts. So, of course, and of all quarterbacks, Purdy he's a little on the slight side. He's not huge, so you definitely have to protect him. And I just look, the 49ers with those guys at the helm, I have faith in them that they'll get it done. I just have to believe that because historically they just always have. John Lynch gets it done. He gets his guys. And so I would have faith. I would have faith that they'll get that done. But it's a must. It's a must.
47 red, man. And Marcel also said, man, you guys always sound so professional. LOL, my first time hearing my beard brother talk, but I love the chemistry and I don't even watch sports. I love those games you throw in. Subscribe, people. Hey, Murph, this guy right here, like how we've been doing, and we always talk behind the scenes about the shows. This guy is it, man. Personality represents and recognizes personality. Real recognizes real. This is where it is, man. We got new things going, and shout out to you for that love, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. So with Definitely. The 181 million guaranteed, and with him locked in, and that easy schedule being there. Do you see them in the playoffs this year?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. This is what I mean. Like, I have faith. I believe in the coach. Look, I think the Rams are still going to be tough. I got questions about Seattle with moving to Sam Darnold. I like what Sam did last year with Minnesota, but this is different. And you moved on from DK Metcalf. Like, I don't know. And I just, I don't trust Arizona at all. I know they had a pretty good draft. I just don't trust them at all. Kyler Murray, at times looks like one of the most exciting players in the whole NFL. And then on other times, I'm like, dude, this guy doesn't even want to be on the field right now. So
he'd rather play the game, man.
Yeah, I think he'd rather be playing video games. And sometimes when you're getting your ass kicked on a football field, you would rather be playing video games.
Right.
So I do have confidence in them. I think it probably will still, again, come down to them and the Rams. So we'll see how that goes. And if you look at them, they're actually built similarly, They're built similarly.
We copied them a little bit.
Yeah.
Kyle went after McVay from his coaching tree, but with like you said, with Cardinals and everything, the only thing that I have to say about their quarterback with Kyler is when we played them this year, I'm happy when we played them the second time because that's when the new Call of Duty will come out. And I know he's not going to be reading that playbook. He's going to be looking at that game, and we need you to be out there. Don't pay attention to these books. You play that Call of Duty. We need this victory over you. We're going to get this, like, without all of that. And, I'm not talking about these guys so where they can come after me like that. I'm just being entertaining. I'm being a devil's advocate in times. But
you're also being a little honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's keep it real.
We got to. And if that's where your mind's going to be at and you're playing against a team that's trying to prove something to you versus you from last year.
Yeah.
We it's a little chip. It's something they call a chip on your shoulder. We got that. We're running with that right now, man. I love it.
Absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely.
Oh, you mad because I'm styling on him.
That's what I got to say to him, man. I know he's mad. It's okay, man. You'll get over it, man. If anything else,
you shouldn't have been talking shit.
I mean, come on, man. You talk that talk, but whenever it comes down to it, it's something that you don't do right in those games. That's why I'd take Brock Purdy over Kyler Murray.
Yep. Oh, 100%, because you get stability and consistency. Look, if you look around the league, dude, take it back to someone like Tom Brady and stop. I'm not comparing Brock Purdy to Tom Brady. Just relax. I'm just saying, what was Tom really good at? He was consistent. He didn't make the big mistakes. Every game, you knew what you were getting, and you got it. Kyler Murray's the opposite. Brock Purdy is stable. You know what you're getting. And you know what's funny is every once in a while, you don't. I mean, it's rare, but every once in a while, you don't. Guess what? That happens to everybody.
Yep.
But you're shocked when he doesn't give you that consistency, right?
And you're pissed. You're like, what the
you're
hell
pissed.
are you doing? I don't know. I know you better than this.
But that's it. You're shocked, right? You're like, you never do this. But that's the part that's saying something is that you never do this. This is not your type of game. Other guys in the league, it's kind of a crapshoot, man. Look, they all have talent. Every single one of these guys, and this includes the backups, by the way, and probably even the third stringers. They were probably all phenomenal college football players, and they're actually very good quarterbacks. But there's just a handful, I don't know, maybe a dozen guys in the league that are what you would call elite, that have that kind of consistency from play to play, quarter to quarter, game to game. And when you got one, you have to lock them up. So, I'm sure they tried to keep that number as low as they could. I actually think Brock Purdy was probably smart enough to say, I don't need or want top of the market because it's going to hurt me in the long run. I think he's smart enough to say that. I think the number, to your point, I think the number was probably a little higher than I expected, but not much. I thought maybe it would be average 50, 53. Okay. So
yeah, that's comfortable.
The truth is, yes, there will have to be hard decisions made because of it. We're talking about, 49, 48, 47 million difference from what he was making last year.
Right.
So there are hard decisions that have to be made, but there are teams in this league that have to make those difficult decisions, and they do it. And Kansas City Chiefs are one of them, and they've gone to the Super Bowl twice with having moved on from some of those guys. So, this is where drafting comes in big. This is where free agency comes in big. This is where finding middling free agents, not necessarily the big name free agents, but guys that can fill in spots that are good but not great, but they're not going to hurt you. This is where a GM really earns his money. So
your front office, right? Yeah, exactly. Your
Absolutely.
front office, this is where you make your bread and butter, because outside of what the team has and what the coach can do, you can make these things happen.
Yes.
Because with 47 Red, a.k.a. John Lynch, he knows the places. He knows the people.
Yep.
They have the money, and a lot of the things with the money, they slowed down because the Yorks, they're also doing their thing with the soccer teams, and they're signing people like that. So their cash is loose. Well, it's kind of tied up, but at the same time, I didn't see that as a problem with what they're doing. They got Kittle locked in, and with them having him locked in, and they signed another tight end that's really good at blocking, they can use him this year like how they're supposed to. If you had Patrick Mahomes with George Kittle, this man would already right now, within a year, maybe 2 years, would have most receptions, most yards after the carry. I mean, we're talking about George Kittle.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they talk good about Travis Kelce, and I won't talk down on him because he does his thing, but he's nowhere near as good as George Kittle is.
Well, he doesn't block.
Right. George Kittle not only does that, he's faster. He'll catch it, and he will fight you.
Yeah, he's an
When you're trying to
excellent blocker.
tackle him, when you're trying to tackle George Kittle, he's thinking of WWE out here. Let's wrestle. Let's have us some fun. Oh, you coming with me? Okay, I'm gonna carry you. Here's my book bag strap over here. Oh, you coming? I'm gonna punch you in the face. The next guy, okay, I might go down because you hit me a little bit lower, but yeah, we're going. Did y'all have fun? 1st and 10. I got what I was supposed to do. You guys didn't do what you were supposed to do. And guess what? The next time I'm going to do the exact same thing. Even if you know it's coming, I'm me. Just get me the ball.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's definitely that guy.
Definitely. And before we go on any further, let me go ahead real quick and give a shout out to these people and pay these bills real quick, man. Shout out to Planet Vapor for all your vaping needs, 12 different locations. If you can't reach them, just like Pete, he's not coming down here just to go to the stores. You can go online and reach out to them at www.planet.vapor.com for everything that you need. Shout out to Blind Fury at Fury Bro Studios. If you need music made for your shows, if you need music made, if you're a rapper, or if you're just somebody that likes to sing or make commercials, holler at him. He's got you. Also, last but definitely not least, shout out to Corey Rockbottom Davis at Rock Bottom Studios, Columbia, South Carolina's first and only, pardon me, Black-owned animation station. They got all of the things that you need. If you see the graphics that you see here, that's from bro out there. They do these things like that, and it's a great turnaround. Pete said, how did you do that so fast? You holler at the bros are going to get you right. And this is what we do out here. And now
Did an amazing job.
Definitely. And now that we got all of that out of the way, where are we at, Pete?
I want to just, before we move on to the NBA playoffs, I just wanted to give a little bit of the anxiety back to you. I don't want you to totally let go of it. The reality is now, you talk about that front office, Shanahan, Lynch, they are now kind of on a hot seat. And I don't mean hot seat like, you might get fired mid-season, not that kind of hot seat. You now have your guy. You're linked to this guy. So now, God forbid, over the next 2 years, he kind of fulfills the worst nightmares of everybody. Like, oh, you can't give him that kind of money or else if it actually turns out to be true that that's the case, that you can't pay him and still field an elite team, they're gone. I mean, it's just as simple as that. 2 years from now, if they're a 500 ball club, they're gone. So, you never know what's going to happen. I got a good feeling. I think they're going to be just fine, but there are some things to be concerned about.
Right, and also outside of the guarantees in the contract, it's not a long contract after was guaranteed. So I think it's the third year we have an option to what, hey, bro, this is or it's not what it is.
Right,
you're getting out of here or you're staying here. Either way it goes. Like you said, Pete, I'm here for it. I'm ready. I'm down for it. I don't have anything against Brock. I just was with the money and the pieces, but I saw we made adjustments. We got better in the draft, which a lot of other teams do. And if you look at how the 49ers did with drafts outside of the third round, we did better with those. We got Debo in the third round. We got Fred Warner in the third round. We're good at drafting outside of the first round. And I'm real proud. I'm standing with these guys on what we have right there. I'm not mad. I'm content. I'm with it right there with you on that, Pete.
Absolutely.
I'm with you. You convinced me.
You should feel good. You should feel good.
You convinced me, man. You convinced me, man.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
That's what I'd be saying if you didn't convince me. But I'm with you. I'm with you, Pete. I'm with you. We're rolling.
You got it. You got it.
Rocking with it, man. So did you have anything else that you wanted to say about them? Or what is the matter of fact, let me ask you this. Because Detroit has done their thing. They lost Ben Johnson. They lost their offensive coordinator. But they kept their core. They added on to their core. What do you see as in ups and what do you see as in downs on what y'all have coming for y'all this year?
Look, there should be a little nervousness. You lost both your offensive and defense coordinator. And to be honest with you, Ben Johnson makes me a little bit more nervous only because there was a lot of creativity there.
Yes.
And I don't know. And I don't mean that as any disrespect to Aaron Glenn. Defense it's less creativity and more discipline. Okay. So, but there was a level of creativity, and I'm just curious how much of that creativity, that mystery that he brought to the offensive game plan was why they were so successful offensively. I like Jared Goff, but as I said before, Jared Goff is not he's not, mobile or anything like that. He's got plenty of arm. He's smart. He's all that stuff. I'm just curious to see. I have to imagine they're not going to be as creative. I don't care I don't care if his brother filled the job. Like, they're just not going to be as creative. With that said, you have a veteran quarterback. You have one of the top 3 offensive lines in the entire league, and you have some beautiful weapons, excellent running game. Those things don't change. Their passing game is built off the running game. Jared Goff is fantastic on play action pass. So that stuff will stay the same. I'm just a little curious. I'm just wondering how much of that creativity not being in the building anymore. You lose one more game, 2 more games. I don't know. I love Dan Campbell. I would have loved to have played for Dan Campbell. And I was never one to watch Hard Knocks. I never watched. The first time I ever watched it was with Detroit. And I was like, oh shit, dude. You see why everyone loves playing for him, Right. You see why they love playing for him. That's not going to change.
Right.
So I think they'll be okay. If you look at New England over that 20-year stretch, they lost coordinators, they lost coaches, but it was Belichick. It was the Patriot way. Do your job. That's what always hung around. That's what, ran the day. So I think that's still how it's going to be. The talent is still there. The head coach is still there. There's going to be something missing. I mean, that's just the way it is. But these things happen. You want your coordinators to get hired by other people because that means they did good. Right. That means you had a good season. So
and like you said, I'll give that to Belichick. I'll give him something on that because he kept his team in a point of there's not a player above the team.
Correct.
We all got to get this together.
Right.
There's not a coach above the team. We all still have a standard.
Right.
And when we lost Mike McDaniel to the Dolphins, with his creativity, we got to see that year when Brock Purdy first stepped up. We were good because nobody knew him in the scouting report, but we still had the creativity with Shanahan and what he was doing. But the year totally with him out of there, with him and with Brock Purdy, Kyle doesn't coach up his quarterbacks. He does not coach up his quarterbacks. He's a great play drawer, and that's only in certain times because red zone last year and even the year before was kind of iffy. So I'll give him his thing on you get the ball down the field without any problem. But with
getting
all
in
of
the
those,
end zone.
Yeah, with all of those weapons that you have, you can't get to the red zone. We don't get to see you on the red zone channel.
I think a lot of it was that their offensive line was so banged up, and obviously McCaffrey was hurt. The running game wasn't the same. And, similarly to Detroit, that San Francisco offense, that passing game runs off, the zone stretch play, and they just weren't able to do it successfully. They were so banged up on the offensive line and at running back. Being healthy, that'll change. They'll get back to business as usual with that.
Definitely, and I believe that the same thing is going to come from Detroit. I've been looking at us in the NFC as looking at both of our teams being in the NFC Championship this year.
That conference is wild. Like that conference is going to be super interesting this year. With Sam Darnold being gone and JJ McCarthy taking over for Minnesota, you don't expect them to win 14 games again. With all the talent, I mean, unbelievable talent they brought into Chicago. Like, holy shit, with Ben Johnson. No more excuses for Caleb Williams, right? Like you can't give it to me anymore. There's nothing you can say anymore. You have wide receivers out the wazoo. Offensive line was upgraded immensely, and it wasn't even that bad. He holds the ball way too long. And the defense was upgraded, and you got the offensive, boy wonder calling plays now. So, they should be improved. Green Bay should still be really good. Obviously, Detroit's still going to be really good. So that could be a really wild division. Really wild division.
I really do believe so. And I think outside of our teams, Detroit and the Niners, I don't think no other team in our division strikes fear like our teams do.
Oh, no, for sure. Yeah.
Like last year with our injuries, it was going to be us. Bar injuries, it would have been Detroit or it would have been the Niners. Or
100%.
Us in that championship game.
And Detroit almost still pulled it off. They had think about this, 13 starters on defense were ended up on the injuries. There's only 11 guys starting on the field at a time. How do you have 13 starters injured? Like they were pulling guys off from the ice cream truck. And they were still right there. I don't even know how the hell they did it. So yeah, you gotta think at the very least defensively they're gonna be better this year. Because I gotta believe you're not gonna have 172 guys injured on defense. So they might give you a call to play DB. I don't know. You never know.
I'm gonna knock on wood for you, Pete. Because I don't want any bad. I want us to be as good as we can be when we play each other. I love it. And
you know what it is too? Forget about like fandom, who you root for and stuff like that. I want to see good teams play well. I want to see good teams be healthy because those are the best. You want to see the best at the end of the season.
That's what people pay for.
Yeah. So that to me was the biggest disappointment. Detroit was so good last year, but they just ran into so many injuries. And who knows what happens this year? And now we'll never know what last year could have been. Not just for me or Detroit Lions fans. I also follow the Jets. I love the Jets for 50 years, and it just broke my heart too many times. I kind of gave up on them. Got my divorce. So, you can't go back. You can't go back and say, hey, we could have won. It doesn't matter. It's gone. So that's the only thing. So you want teams to be healthy, even if they're not, your team. You want to see greatness. You want to see greatness on the field. That's what it really comes down to. You mentioned the Red Zone channel. Why do we like the Red Zone channel so much? Because you get to see all the great plays. They show you all the great plays. We want to see greatness. So
wanna
that's
see where
why I
those
don't
points are
watch
coming
Jets
from.
games, because they're just I could take a nap and get extra sleep in, because they're such snooze fests.
Right.
So yeah, you want to see great teams be at full strength and be great and play great.
Definitely, man. And otherwise, why we're watching the game. I mean, even if your team isn't playing great, if they're not playing great, we want that to be because they're playing against a greater team.
Right,
And they're not looking
exactly.
as good as we want them to be. We don't want it to be just because the teams and the coaching and everything like that is doing what they're doing. We want it to be like, yo, if you're better than us, show us.
Then you got us.
As
Yep.
coaching, like you coach as well, I coach AAU as well. And my players, they be like, Coach, why are you still on us? We up by 10. Next quarter, you're going to be down by 4.
Yep.
And they be like, what do you mean? We're down 4 because I know those players as a coach. I know what's going to happen, and I know how their other coach is coaching. And I know you guys are riding on a high. You're up right now. Instead of, I tell them all the time, they'll tell you, what is the plan? If we got to play like we're down 20. If you have
Always.
that motivation, you're going to play and finish the game like I'm down. There's nothing like playing like I'm down. Me and you can see by your build, by my build, in our sports where we come from, it didn't come from, and we didn't learn what we learned from getting that trophy handed. When you were on the team this year, y'all lost 8 games out of 10, but here's a trophy because y'all came and
Right.
did it. I don't do that. They be like, well, are we going to buy them trophies? No, we didn't win a championship.
Right.
We're going to have a banquet, and they can have cupcakes and everything like that, and I'll play one more game with them full court, and we'll have a good time. But otherwise that, I'm not giving them no trophies.
No.
I'm not giving you nothing for having a losing season. If we
Right.
won it, I wouldn't have to, and you as a parent wouldn't have to come out your pockets to pay for something to make them feel good. You feel bad till next year, and then you take that pain from next year and get better.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. Fuck
Yeah.
these 8th place trophies, man.
Absolutely.
Fuck these
Absolutely.
8th place trophies, man.
No. The work, the earning it is what makes it fun. Playing
Yeah.
sports is not fun. Winning is fun. And when you lose, you learn and earn the desire to do better. That's or you move on and do something else. Maybe
It
go be an
wasn't- it wasn't
accountant.
for
I
me.
don't know.
Look, it wasn't for me. I
Yeah.
found out. I
Yeah.
found out that I wasn't good at blocking. So now I'm selling shoes at Walmart.
There you go.
This is what I do. I'm good
Some-
at it.
yeah,
I'm good
somebody
at
has to.
it.
There you
I'm
go.
good at it. No disrespect to them,
No.
but hey, man, somebody's got to do it. If
Absolutely.
you can't do that there, don't get nobody hurt because you can't play that position, man.
Exactly.
Just go do something else.
Exactly.
We'll go
The
do
work,
something else.
the difficult is what makes it awesome.
Yeah.
That's what makes winning fun. That's
Yeah.
it's if it was easy, who'd give it? You don't give a shit. I say to my son all the time, or my students in school, I go, if you beat your 5-year-old brother in checkers, you feel good about yourself? No, man.
You knew what he
No.
was gonna do before he did it because you're better
Yeah,
than
come
him.
on.
You
Yeah,
know what
that's
he
no
doesn't
fun.
know.
You don't walk away from that like, man, pumped up. You're like, just wasted my time.
Teach
You
him
know?
your moves. And
Yeah,
give
it's
him
the hard.
opportunity to beat you.
It's the
and
hard that
then
makes it
fight
worth
through.
it.
Right,
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
Right, man. That's why heart is so good to me, because heart is something that you can't teach. Just heart is something you can't coach. Heart is something that these players, you probably have 2 to 3 players on every team, that you've coached that have that heart.
Oh, of course.
If
Yeah.
you have those guys and you exploit it, everybody else, they catch on. It's so contagious. They be like, well, he doesn't even like to score, but he plays defense. But look at what he did on defense. That transition turn from his steal 4 to 6 points easily without a play even being drawn up, just because his defensive anticipation, where he is on it. Now he's doing his thing. Now the offensive players that all they do is score, they're feeling better. They're feeling better. And they
Yep.
wouldn't even give him the ball. Man, you got to get a point. You got to give him, coach. Can we get him the ball? All right, we up by 8. We got a minute left. Go ahead. But if y'all go down any less, I'm taking a timeout and all y'all coming out. That's what
That's
I tell
it.
them.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
care
it. You
what's
have to.
going on. If we're going to do this, how y'all want to do this, then get this guy these points. You need not to let the other team score. If they score, I'm pulling all of y'all out and I'm pulling the bench people in so they can do it. They don't allow that to happen. That's that
Yep.
hard. We can't
Absolutely.
teach that. But
Absolutely.
if you let them run free reign, they're going to do it, man. They're going to do it, man.
You got it.
We got that, man. So where we are from here, man? Where we are from here, man?
You want to hit some NBA playoffs real quick?
Hell yeah. What you got for me, man?
Well, obviously, there was probably some disappointment in New England the other night with Boston finally going down to the Knicks. Unsurprisingly, I guess. I know there was a lot of excitement probably. Tatum goes down the other night, ruptures his Achilles, and they still get the win the following game. And then, everybody's thinking, well, maybe they can pull this off. I gotta be honest with you, there was part of me that was like, teams rally all the time. We see this happen all the time. Guy goes down, teams rally. I don't think I wasn't thinking they could win a championship. But I thought, I actually think maybe they're still a better team. But nope, the Knicks did. Great job, came out, left no doubt. And, Boston ends up going home. So this is becoming quite the theme over the last, I think it's 5-7 years. I don't know exactly. Relatively early exits for last year's NBA champion. So it happens again. And then tomorrow we have a huge game, Game 7 with Oklahoma City at home against Denver. Been a back and forth series, tied at 3 right now. That series to me, that's been a lot of fun. This has been the one thing I can say about this. I think Oklahoma City is so much better a team, but Denver has that championship pedigree. I think this is such a great thing for Oklahoma City to have to go through, to force themselves to dig deep. That first series they had was so friggin' easy. This series forcing them to dig deep, to beat a championship team that's playing well, an MVP in Jokic, to have to go out there and beat them if they do tomorrow. I'm sure they didn't want to go 7 games, but I'm telling you, that's the kind of shit that makes teams better. That's the kind of thing that makes them capable of winning a championship. They needed something like this.
Yeah, they did, and I'm with you fully on that, on both games. And from the OKC with the Denver Nuggets thing, the whole thing that I saw about them, I thought SGA and Chet and everybody on OKC, they were going to run away with it. The way that it looked, I even said on a podcast, the way he walked off the court, he was smiling and he was like, yeah, we got this. I'm not worried about it. We lost this when it was close, but we still got this. He had that confidence in himself. But at the same time, so did the Joker, so did Murray, and also everybody who slept on him and still sleep on him, Mr. Captain Triple-Double, Russell Westbrook himself, who we know motor, stays on go. It doesn't matter. I mean, you put Porter Jr. on and you put him on. They're different teams. They're coming off of the bench, but you don't know what you're going to get from Michael Porter. You don't know. He might get scared today. Tomorrow he might feel confidence. Westbrook is no fear. It's I'm going to give you this exact same thing every single time.
Right.
I don't care what it is.
He delivers energy every single time he steps on a court. Sometimes it's not enough. His shooting most of the time is not great, but he brings a level of energy that very few guys in the NBA do. And even historically, like that kind of motor, it's not too many guys that do that on both sides of the court, by the way. So it's the kind of thing that does sometimes change the direction of a game. And it has in this series, I think on 2 occasions, just his energy on the court changed the entire direction of the game. Right. So, yeah, he's unique. He's very unique.
Yeah, when you got a guy like him coming off of the bench, that's not even in your starting unit. Remember, he's elite enough to give your starting unit fits like that. But you put him on coming off the bench, and you got people that's not as good on the court when he's out there. That's an advantage,
No,
that's
for sure.
Advantage, and like what we were saying with the Celtics, what I saw with them, man. Oh my goodness, man. Porzingis. What's going on with him? What is this? The sickness that's going to last months?
I don't even get it. I mean, it sounds more like a disease than just like he's got a cold or flu. The way they're talking about it.
I think the disease is the NBA. They named him the unicorn, but it's the unicorn because we can barely see him. He played 11 minutes in a game where we really needed you to step up. And this is where I also said, and I tell people all of the time, Jaylen Brown is good. Jaylen Brown is not your leader. He's not your MVP. He got that last year. I don't know how he got that. But Jason Tatum is your finisher. He is your team leader. He is your team MVP. Jaylen Brown, I look at how he takes his dunks. It's a two-step gathering. I used to have to do the same thing. I'm 5'11" and a half. So a two-step gathering for me to dunk, okay, that's necessary. You're 6'7" plus, and you have to gather like that in order to do it. You're not as elite. You don't practice those things.
Yeah.
When they was like, well, he had 20 in the first. Yes, he did. But guess what Tatum would have did? He would have matched that in the second half because he knew that's what they needed in order to win that game.
Yeah.
Even if it was in New York. And from what we were saying from that, and I think that's the only reason they didn't take that series the other night when they were in Boston. Boston was too packed. There's no way they would have got out of that arena winning that in Boston.
Right.
New York winning in Boston as packed as that arena was? No, it wasn't that.
Yeah.
You can put politics in it and all. Politics says, yeah, y'all got to win this because that's money for y'all. That's money for the league. Okay, we got another game coming. Okay, that's where we are right now. But even before and all of that, I knew from point A, and my brother that I argued with the other day, and he was like, yo, I like the way you said what you said. We talk all of the time. He said earlier this year, he was mad that how in the beginning of the year, how New York lost to Boston because Carl Anthony Towns, not Cat Williams.
Yeah.
He wasn't playing like how he played last night. Cat picks and chooses his times like that. That's why I think Julius Randle was a better fit there as their big because you look at what he did to Draymond. Draymond he can guard from the 3 on up. And he's going to body you. He's going to foul you. He's going to talk shit to you and everything. That didn't matter to Julius Randle. Go ahead. I was with Kobe. Kobe told me to go to my high school and shoot jumpers. He asked me where to go. We got there. He said, yeah, work on that broke-ass jumper that you got. This is Kobe. Work on that broke-ass jumper, motherfucker. If you want me to do something and believe in your game, work on that. I see you got all of this.
Yeah.
But what are you working on what you don't have?
Yep,
And
exactly.
And he's bringing that now. He's bringing that. And that's why I think, and I really believe if in this series I want the OKC to win because they're younger. I'm used to Joker and them winning. They're like Utah Jazz back in the days with Hornacek, Stockton, and all these guys. They win, but it doesn't look good when you're watching.
Yeah.
Certain teams, when you watch, you be like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go to sleep. I'm gonna make some ramen noodles. I'm chilling for the night. I'm gonna scroll Facebook. This isn't what it is. I don't need to watch this shit. I don't care who wins this game. But with them being there in that position to be there, I'd rather OKC play Minnesota, so it could be Ant-Man versus SGA.
Yep.
And whoever is that determining factor, I'd love for them to play New York. I know Indy they're exactly what we were talking about. They're not fancy. You see their point guard, Tyler Halliburton. He's doing his thing. He's not a superstar in the league right now, but
he's an assassin.
Everybody's prize pick is winning.
Yep. He doesn't give a shit about the moment.
Money on him. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit. He'll let it rip. You gotta love that about him, man. Yeah, he's a special player. I like him a lot because there's nothing about him in particular that you point to and you're like, he does this amazing. It's just a mentality that he brings to the court that I don't know. There's just something different. You know what I mean? What do we talk? You talk about something like it all the time. How do you define it? I don't fucking know how you define it, but whatever that shit is, he's got it. Like he definitely has that, and he's got a set of brass balls. He just doesn't care. He will gladly take the ball, on that last shot or whatever it takes. So
there's no ass puckering moment with him.
No, not at all.
There's no ass puckering moment when you see him shooting. You like, okay, that's best for the team. Nobody else would have done that or stood up for that. I'm with you.
Don't sleep on Indiana, man. This is a team that now will be 2 years in a row Eastern Conference Championship.
They dismissed New York last year.
Yep.
They dismissed New York last year.
I will tell you something that was different with that Boston and Knicks series. People were saying, well, Boston beat them, 4 games this year. They swept them in the regular season. Yeah, but the difference in the playoffs is the level of physicality.
Yep.
Like the how far the league this year let these guys go at being physical in the playoffs. Holy shit. Like it was, I feel like I'm back in the 90s watching these games. And that's different. That's not Boston. Boston doesn't, that's not their style, man. They're, 63s in one game. That's not a physical team. The Knicks are physical.
Yeah, they're pretty. And I was looking at a couple of other podcasts that it is what it is with Mason Cameron. They was like, you look at those pretty guys. They got their haircut fancy every game you see them. They're more going off of how they look instead of how that end score is going to look.
Yeah.
I want players like that. I don't care if you got a brand new haircut because this is playoffs. This is what it is. Give me the guy that's got a fro, no haircut, or the white guy that's got the long hair. I don't care about this. I'm here to play basketball. Yep. I'm here to dive in the stands. I'm here to whatever it is, what my team needs me to do. I want
play hard defense, hard fouls, big time rebounds. That's what the Knicks did. That's why they won the series. Right. They're not a more talented team. They just grind more.
It's like you played pickup ball before. You seen guys come with the Boston jersey, with the Boston shorts, with the arm sleeve. That's the sorriest guy on the court.
Yeah.
This motherfucker can't hold water. He can't score. He's probably shooting over the basketball goal, but he just looks good. You want that guy that's got on damn near a pair of sweatpants, some sneakers, a shirt that doesn't matter or match, but he's going to be out there grinding with you.
Yep.
You know your game, what you're going to bring, he's matching that. That's who I want. I don't care who's totally fit, who looks good, who looks the part. I want the guy that's going to play the part.
That's it. That's what the playoffs come down to. That's certainly what this year's playoffs came down to. Lakers lose. Why? Because they don't have those guys.
Yep.
They don't have dogs. They don't have guys like that on that team. And
also to go off of what you said, the refs let them play.
It's a different game. It's just a totally different game.
When you got LeBron in the regular season going like this when nobody touched him.
Right.
And now you're in the playoffs, the referees are like this in the whole playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Something happened?
I'm stunned. I'm blown away. Yeah, I'm blown away by how much they're letting go. And I love it. I'm absolutely, man. Let the players on the court decide the game. Other than something that's really obvious, let them play,
Yeah.
I wish the regular season was more like that. I'd probably watch a lot more. But this has been fun to watch. There's no doubt about it.
And that's why I've been loving the WNBA and the WNCAA, because the women, they play so much to a T. If you don't call that foul, it's obvious, because they're defensively set. They play like how you coach them to do it. Offensively, they're set. They play the game right. This is what the NBA was when we were growing up. We knew what we were going to have. This time of year, school is about to be out. My partners are here. We're picking who we want to cheer for. And outside of school, we can stay up late. We can talk about it early tomorrow when we out here on the court. We're at the swimming pool. We're on the baseball field. Doesn't matter where we are. We're going to have fun talking about this. And we're going to talk about those guys that didn't show up, even as kids. But now we were so far away from that with this flops and everything, the cupcake part of the NBA that we hate so much. That's why we really don't watch it. It's not that we don't love sports. We love sports. We love to talk about them. That's why the Pete and Repeat show is going to be out here like that. We love to talk about it, but y'all got to give us something to talk about. NBA, men's NCAA, because y'all are being beat right now. These women are showing y'all play like us. What are we doing? Not dunking? We got dunkers right now too. What are y'all doing that we're not doing? And we're exciting on it. They look better. I definitely love watching them in those outfits and everything like that. Dejanay Carrington, that's my wife. She doesn't know it yet. It's okay. I asked her, I reached out to her. I want her on the show so I can interview her and ask her to marry me online. I don't want to do it with nobody watching, but yeah, I love it. But with them doing what they're doing in the NBA, we need y'all to come back to what it is. That's why we are with the teams that we have right now. The physicality, with the refs not calling everything, they're letting you play. And given that opportunity, it's going to be guys that step up, and it's going to be guys that fade to black, man.
Absolutely. No, 100%. Nailed it.
Definitely, bro. So, We got those out of the way. I got something. I like to do the 5 for 5 before
Okay.
we get out of here. And it's one word answer, and you get the. Or if you try to take the cheap way, I'm gonna be like, Pete, I don't know.
Denied.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
I'm
But
ready.
I'm gonna give you 5, and you give me 5. Okay. All right, Matthew Stafford.
What do you want to know?
One word answer on him.
Just like one word that I think about him.
You can say trash. You can say on the way, and on the way. We could take that as a one word because of who he is, or whatever.
I'll say elite.
I'll take it. All right. Famous Jameis Winston.
Oh my God.
You want to eat a W? I want to eat a W, Pete.
The
I
crab
want to eat a
leg.
W, man.
I'm gonna say exciting.
I'll take that. I'll take that. And I'll give you the Don DeMarco on that because he is that. I think outside of the NFL, he'll be a great commentator once he gets done.
Oh, it would be interesting.
I love the way he has that positive energy and gives it to his teammates and stuff like that, man. I really do.
For sure.
All right, Barry Sanders.
Oh my God, best ever.
I'll take that. And you see how you said that? With that, we can on those when it's meant to be like that, we can do that. But if it doesn't match,
Denied.
no. But that's totally 100%.
I'll put an asterisk with this one thing though. If
Let's
Bo
go.
Jackson never got hurt,
Yeah.
then he would have been the best.
Yeah.
Period. I've never seen any athlete like him ever.
Yeah, even on Tecmo Bowl, you can see it. Even on Tecmo Bowl, man.
Yes,
You can run around
yes.
the whole field. He's still going.
Oh
Man,
my
tackle him.
Oh my God.
I got Ronnie
So
Lott.
funny.
Tackle
That
him.
is it. Oh my God, yes. God.
All right. And since I said his name, I was going to say it anyway. Ronnie Lott, bro.
Scary.
I'll take it.
Does everybody know the Pinky story with Ronnie Lott?
Cut it off. Yep.
It's
Talk to him about it.
People don't
'Cause I
believe me
say
when
it
I
all
tell
the
the
time.
story. It's a playoff game, and he breaks his pinky, and the thing is just flipping and flopping, and the training staff couldn't even like tape it. So he says, "Cut it off." And obviously, this is in the '80s. It's a little different time. They ain't doing this shit now, but they cut the damn thing off, and he played, and they won a Super Bowl that year. For Christ's
Fuck
sake,
the load management.
I don't need no.
I don't
pinky
need this
tip.
pinky.
Yeah,
I don't need
Bye-bye.
this pinky. It's nothing. Only thing I do with my pinky is look like I'm more sophisticated when I'm sipping my drink or when I'm eating something like that. That's the only thing this pinky is gonna do for me. You see,
He don't have to
you
worry
see
about that
pinky
anymore.
up there like that. That's the only thing that pinky is gonna do. But when it comes on this field, I'm running lot. I'm installing fear in everybody that comes across me. Yes, and more fear because I cut it off. You're not gonna get that satisfaction of I'm hurt. No. I'm here.
You don't care.
I'm here.
You don't care. That's some
Yes.
crazy shit right there. All right, my turn.
Accept it.
My turn.
No, I got one more for you.
You got
I
one more, sorry.
for you. Yep, I got one more for you. Megatron.
Oh man, how about this? I'm gonna say this: smart. He got out healthy, looking great, feeling good, made his money, and got the hell out of here. Back when Detroit was a goddamn dumpster fire. Yeah, smart, smart.
Yep, I'll accept that, and I'll give you your
Bang! Bang! It's good.
because definitely he was that, and they wouldn't trade him. They wouldn't let him go on to be greater. So he was like, "Man, forget it. I'm out of here." It's okay.
I remember
accept it.
saying it at the time. I was like, you know what? Because everybody's like, oh, this is bullshit. He shouldn't do this. He still make a. I'm like, this is the smartest thing he could have done. He's made a lot of money. I think he was doing a lot of modeling at the time too. He was physically looked fantastic. And I'm like, get the hell out of there, man. People don't realize what football does to your body, man. He gets out of there healthy and wealthy. Bye-bye.
Yep, exactly.
Especially
I
from
would've took it
Detroit.
out, too. I
Yeah,
would've
being
took it
on
out, too.
Detroit, that
You're
has
not
something
getting
to
me
do with
any
it.
help, and you're not letting me go to anywhere else. Okay, I'm good. Okay, end of my contract, and you want to sign me some more? No, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Yep.
All right,
It's
you
on
ready?
man? Yep, I'm ready, bro.
All right, first one, Brock Purdy.
One. Confident.
Okay. You are or he is?
I'll say he is, and my confidence is in him.
Good. I'm glad I helped a little with that.
You accept that?
I accept that. I got
Yeah,
two NBA names here for you.
Okay.
Cade Cunningham.
Right now, overrated.
Really?
I'd say overrated.
I get the no.
Okay.
Denied. I actually thought this was a coming out party this year for Cade Cunningham. You have to remember, think about this. Detroit was on pace at one point last season to have the worst record in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
A year later, they're fighting with a team that ends up going to the Eastern Conference Finals, game for game. And Cunningham to me was the guy that I was like, holy shit, I didn't know this kid was this good. I felt it was really like a coming out party for him.
That's true.
So
I guess I'll have to put that on the coaches and everything, because you're 100% right. I was wrong on mine, because what he did, it spoke for himself, and he could have had more if those coaches and that staff had built and did more for him and helped him out on that. Okay,
absolutely.
I'll accept that. That's a loss for me. That's a loss
All right.
for me.
Here's
I
your
missed
chance
out on
to you redeem yourself with this one. Here you go. Right, LeBron James.
Oh my goodness. I hate that he's on my team. First of all, I got so much to say bad about him, but I said this year I wouldn't talk bad about him. So for one word answer for him, I'll say LeBron James, man. Goodness gracious. Without tarnishing him or talking bad, one word positive or one word negative, even if it is, what's the one word I got for him, man? LeBron James. I'll just have to say GM.
Okay, I'll accept that. I will accept that.
He
You didn't say good GM. You just said GM.
Because he's been doing it his whole career.
Yeah.
Nobody else has done it. I didn't see Michael Jordan do that.
No.
I saw the league say, yeah, Kobe Bryant, you can't have Chris Paul play with you. Right. You're not going to beat Michael Jordan's record by getting Chris Paul. But LeBron, yeah, you can have everybody that you ask for, and it's okay for you to complain for not having enough help when you're supposed to be the one that helps everybody around you.
Totally fair.
They compare him to Magic, but look at how many people that play with Magic that he helped become Hall of Famers. LeBron helped nobody become a Hall of Famer.
It's true. It's true. Let's head back to the NFL.
Let's go.
Guy who has had multiple MVPs, but not the same level of success in the in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson.
Ooh. I'm gonna say he's him.
Oh.
Because last year and what he did, they didn't lose that game because he didn't deliver that ball where nobody else couldn't catch it. And they could have won that Super Bowl. They could have made it and won. But that guy, you saw how he dropped that. And when us as fathers, you don't teach to catch like this. You teach to catch like this. Use your hands and pull it in. That man, as a grown man, did that and they lost that. And remember, they were losing. He threw interceptions. He dropped the ball and everything. But that would have been his story. Well, everybody says he's worth this money, but look at what he did when it came down to it. What he did when it came down to it was threw the perfect pass, and the man dropped it after having two hands on it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, last one. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ray Lewis.
Hold up. Look. Do the dance real quick.
You look just like him.
Ray Lewis, man. Ray Lewis. I'll say GOAT as far as linebackers.
I think that's fair also. I think you get the ding 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 on that one.
I will say that, and let me ask you this, Pete, because me and the family were talking on our other show about the GOAT conversation, and I said the GOAT conversation needs to be broken down into positions in football.
I prefer that.
If you think and you really look at football and they talk about Tom Brady's the GOAT, they talk about Montana's the GOAT. If you look at the numbers and the records that's broken, Jerry Rice is the GOAT.
For sure. Yeah.
He's miles ahead of people with as far as yards and breaking his record. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You look at the NBA outside of positions, you had Kareem who had that unblockable shot. And you got LeBron who most of his career, his points came from driving to the lane, getting layups. I'm not mad at him for that.
Right. No.
You can have that, but as far as somebody who's not supposed to pass it, they're better than you because they did their job to a T. They didn't have to ask for help. They didn't do anything like that. But that's where I feel the GOAT conversation.
I like that. In fact, when you think of the NBA, when we talk about the greatest players, when we make our top 5 lists, or top 10, a lot of times, at least in a top 5, we don't even really consider centers, right? We almost put them in a separate category. So I have no problem at all when it comes to football. You can have your best offensive and then best defensive, but then best by position. I'm all about giving more people greatest of all time. Just make it position specific. I'm sure they do that in hockey when they talk about there's Gretzky, and then they also have like a separate category for defensemen, and then they have a separate category for goalies. I think that's fair. How the hell could you? How could you compare like Martin Brodeur, who was an amazing goalie for the New Jersey Devils, and Wayne Gretzky? It's not possible. It's apples and oranges.
They don't even do this thing. They don't even have
it's
the same
impossible. So I like that idea of separating them. Maybe that's an episode of the podcast we'll have to do is the GOATs by position.
Look, we got to and we're going to. And also shout out to T, First Lady of Hater Debate. She said it's dueling Pete's. I love it. I love it. T, I told you already. This is what it is. We definitely gonna have you on here. I know you're gonna surprise Pete when you put that knowledge on it. He's a Detroit fan, even though we're San Francisco fans. He's going to love it because you're unbiased and you love the game. And when you give him that knowledge, it's going to be there.
Can't wait.
Murph Almighty said, Pete and repeat on play and replay. Definitely appreciate you for that. T also said, yes, we got game. You better believe it. She said it's hilarious. And she also said, Lewis
unhuman. Ray Lewis. Yeah,
yes,
he was
more
than.
That's her one word answer for him.
Freaking superhero. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. And
I like that one actually, because he was a friggin' freak.
Yes, you couldn't stop that. You couldn't do nothing but hope that he was sick or hurt that day.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to War Stories, Who the High Life, man. Salute to you too, man. You already know what time it is, man. When we get out of here, we can go on a hated debate. If you guys got some juice, y'all want to talk about something, but you already see what it is. Me and Pete is out here trying to get this thing rolling. We getting this thing rocking, and I appreciate y'all tuning in and doing this. Pete, before we get out of here, I normally do we call players. And look, Pete.
There we go.
This is my other, you see him. Go
whoop,
Detroit.
Whoop.
That's Huda. He loves Detroit too. And if you see him on the show, he's got that Detroit background. This was before it was all fancy. We used to play Madden and he would get the Detroit Lions and he knows I would get the 49ers. It is nowadays, this is what it is.
Gotta do it.
He's been on there. But now, let's pick a team and let's go naming players and coaches from that team. If you say or if you take 3 seconds to answer, then you get that. So we're going to go back and forth. What team do you want to go off of? It can be any sport.
How about, I'm going to say the Miami Dolphins.
All right, Miami Dolphins. I only know one person from them and a couple, but we can do it. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
You want me to start?
You can start it.
Don Shula.
Dan Marino.
Clayton.
Tuatunga Bailoa.
Waddle.
Tyreek Hill.
There you go. Coach McDaniel.
And that's who I was thinking this whole time. That's what I was thinking this whole time. Let me think. You got me, Pete. You got me, Pete. All right. So you got that round. We're going to do the best out of 3. Let's go to another team for it. You can pick the team since you won that round.
All right, we'll help you out here. Let's go Lakers.
Okay. Michael
I'm
Cooper.
trying to even you up here. I'm trying to even you up. James Worthy.
Okay. Magic Johnson.
Kareem.
Kobe.
Shaq.
Riles.
Pau Gasol.
The Machine. Sasha Vujacic.
Luka Doncic.
Devin George.
I had a guy in my head I couldn't think of his name.
Well, all of the people that we know, why is it so hard when it's on the spot like that?
The pressure, man. We buckle.
Yeah, right.
I'm
All right,
buckling over here.
So the last game, let's go Detroit. Detroit Pistons.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go with Chuck Dolly. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do
You
that.
lost already. It's
Chuck
over.
Dolly. Look, Chuck Dolly.
Cade Cunningham.
Ben Wallace.
Isaiah Thomas.
Rip Hamilton. Pete, 3 seconds! Pete! Get a Detroit man! Pete, come on, Pete!
I wish you could have seen inside my head. I could see all their faces, and I couldn't name any of them.
Like I said, Pete, this game, this
Oh
is
my
why
God.
it's so fun because
Oh,
we
Joe
know
Dumars.
the game.
That's what I was trying to get
We know
Joe
the
Dumars.
players, but on the spot, it's so much harder to do, man. It's so much harder, man.
Terrible.
We got it. We lit, man. What is anything you wanted to talk about before we got out?
I think
here?
that's it, man.
Any
Good
shout-outs?
start. Good start.
Any shout outs you wanted? Well, matter of fact, not any. Run your shout outs down before we go on out of here.
Well, listen, I'll say if anybody wants another podcast to listen to, you can check out Bump and Run Sports Podcast. You can find it on Spotify, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Apple as well. So the audio or the video version is on both. So me and my buddy Scotty Bracey, we do that together. We have a great time, similar to this. So you can check that out too.
Definitely let Scotty cook. Let Scotty cook. That's the whole thing from when we was on, man.
Absolutely.
And me, any shots out? I got shots out to Bump and Run. I got shout out to all of the players, all of the hosts that's on the Hater Debate Show. Shout out to you guys that's out here. You Hooter, UT, everybody that's watching. Y'all make this do what it does. We're happy to have y'all here with the Pete and Repeat. It wasn't the Adventures of Pete and Pete because that was too cliche. And we're not Nickelodeon. We curse. We say shit sometimes. We
Fucking
say
A.
motherfucker sometimes. You know what I mean? And Pete can't say that. But these two Petes can say that, and we do this. Shout out to Pete. Shout out to whole New Jersey. You know I'm from that tri-state area. Connecticut is in the building. You know what we're doing out here. Shout out to the champions. Shout out to the champions. But yeah. That's my shots out, man.
Yeah, I appreciate everybody for joining us live. That's awesome, man. Very cool.
Definitely. If you got no more shots, meet me backstage after this and we'll talk. But otherwise that.
Pulls up 3-pointer.